Alright, good morning everyone. Today we are excited to present our group project for the course Social Linguistics entitled A Social Linguistic Analysis of Site-Sadic Speeches and Exploration Through Key Concepts and Elements. This study, conducted by Aaron Teck and me, Mohamad Zulhazwan JAZLI RUSDI, focuses on Site-Sadic's use of English in his 2017 TEDx talks titled Youth in Politics and How Debate Shapes Student Activists to Change the World. We explored how he strategically used language to connect with younger audiences and advocate for social changes. By analyzing key sociolinguistic elements in his speeches, our project aims to highlight the power of language in influencing public discourse and empowering youth participation in political and societal matters. Next is the introduction. For the introduction, Syed Saddiq is a prominent figure in Malaysian politics and a founding member of MUDA. He has been a strong advocate for youth empowerment and political reform. As one of the youngest ministers in Malaysia, his TEDx talks in 2017, Youth in Politics and How Debate Shapes Student Activists to Change the World, gained global attention for discussing social changes, sorry, youth leadership, and just governments. This essay explores his use of language, focusing on code switching and register to connect with diverse audiences and inspire public change. It also examines how his language choices align with the social aspect of ESG, particularly in promoting youth involvement and equality.
All right. So moving on with theoretical framework. Okay, so this study examines two sociolinguistic concepts. Okay, which are register and code switching. So according to Wardow 2015, register refers to the adjustments of speech patterns based on context, subject, and audience. With Sadiq's using a formal tone in political speeches to exert his professionalism and seriousness while switching to informal language to connect with younger audiences. Code switching, the practice of alternate between languages, is evident in Syed Sadiq's use of both Malay and English, allowing him to relate to local Malaysian culture and international politics. Thus, broadening his reach, his language choices also reflect the social component of ESG, focusing on fairness, inclusion, and youth involvement, as he always emphasized the importance of giving all people a voice in governance.
Okay, next is methodology. For this study, we choose to do the qualitative content analysis. This analysis examines two of the SADC's prominent English speeches selected for their global audiences and focus on social issues related to ESG values, such as political reform and youth leadership. Using qualitative content analysis, the study looks at linguistic techniques, including word choices, sentence structures, recurring phrases, emotional appeal, and his use of we or our to engage with the audience. This also explores whether Sadiq employs code switching or register switching, while considering the speech's locations and delivery on respected platforms to diverse global audiences. The approach helps understand how SADC uses language to foster social and political change and connect with various groups.
All right. So, moving on with social linguistic concepts, which are register and code switching. So, for register, we can see that Said Sadiq's speeches demonstrate a sophisticated use of register, a social linguistic concept that adapts depending on the environment, audience, and goal, according to Wardorf 2015. In the line with political discourse, he employs a formal register to establish credibility and project authority, especially when addressing international or institutional audiences. For instance, in his TEDx talk, Sadiq uses clear, structured language to discuss global youth empowerment, reinforcing his leadership in political transformation. However, to connect with younger audiences, he shifts to more informal language such as "let's talk" and "we need change", fostering a more inclusive and open discussion. By adjusting his register, he emotionally engages with younger generations, positioning himself as a leader ready to advocate for their needs. Alright, so next one we will move on with code switching. So code switching is a prominent feature in Syed Sadiq's speeches, particularly when he alternates between Malay and English. While it is more common in his Malay speeches, the technique is also present in his English language talks, highlighting his identity and connection to his community. By switching between languages, Sadiq demonstrates his adaptability in diverse cultural contexts, catering to the linguistic preferences and of his broad audiences. So, as Malaysian youth are bilingual and speak various languages, code switching reflects harmony and makes him more relatable and engaging to listeners worldwide, based on Mayer's Scotland 2016.
Next, we move on to socio-linguistic elements, identity and power relations. For identity, through his remarks, Said Sadiq showcased a multifaceted personality that is both local and global, presenting himself as a global thinker and a reformist young leader. His strategic use of formal and informal registers balances his need to project authority with his desire to remain approachable to younger, diverse audiences. By reaffirming his commitment to government and political institutions, his formal language strengthens his political identity, while his use of everyday language highlights his relatability and alignment with the ideals of young people. This is from Fairclough 2001. Next is power relation. In his speeches, Said Sadiq demonstrates the power dynamics of challenging the established order while respecting institutional authority. He advocates for political reform and greater youth involvement, positioning himself as someone seeking change from within rather than through outright rejection. By using an informal register, he expresses his disobedience to strict political norms, while his use of formal English discourse shows respect for the political system. This dynamic enables him to engage with both the established political establishment and the young reform-minded audiences. This is from Foucault 1980s.
All right. So next will be the relevance to the social component of ESG. So based on his speeches, Said Sadiq uses a lot of social component, okay, according to the ESG. So Said Sadiq's speeches emphasize the social component of ESG, focusing on community development, equality, and representation. He advocates for giving underrepresented groups, especially youth, a voice in politics and stresses the importance of socially fair governance. With youth participation at the core, his use of inclusivity language like we and our motivates young people to engage in shaping their future and supports collective actions. According to Fried Rich 2021, additionally, his code switching between Malay and English aligns with his social goals, ensuring his message reaches a broader audience and reflects his commitment to creating an inclusive society where all groups have an equal say in political discourse, according to Time 2022.
Okay, next is the linguistic variations and other social factors. This study also looks at how Sadiq's way of speaking changes based on the situation and the person he is speaking to. When speaking to younger audiences or audiences from other countries, his tone and word choices changes between professional and informal. For instances, for instances, his Cambridge Union speech is more formal and scholarly, but his TEDx talk is more motivational and approachable. His speech is influenced by social elements such as audience background, age, and setting. He connects more with other groups by changing his approach, demonstrating that language is influenced by the listeners as much as the substance. This is from Holmes 2013.
So, in conclusion, okay, Sadiq political talk demonstrates the strategic use of language in shaping political identity and involvement in a multicultural environment. His English speeches, inspired by global political terms, motivate youth participation and contribute to global dialogues of governance, fairness, and sustainability. His approach demonstrates how language can transform social transformation. Lastly, I would like to show this will be our references for our findings throughout this case study about Said Sadiq's speeches. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.